of the truth of what's coming. And let me now tie this to Ebola and show you how quickly things could change. We now have our second patient here in Dallas. This patient was a nurse. She was a nurse that apparently worked on the first patient, but she claims that she did nothing wrong, that she was in the suit the whole time, that there was no way she should have been exposed to this. They don't know how she was exposed, but what they're now saying is, but it was her fault. Wait, when you can tell us how she got it, well, then maybe you can blame the victim. I mean, geez, you want to talk about, that's like blaming the woman for rape. When you don't know, what do you say we don't blame her? What do you say we don't know, and until we do, we're assuming the suit doesn't work? The reason why they're not doing that is because they don't want you to panic. So let's just say we start to see how viral this thing perhaps is, hopefully is not. But we start to see this thing spread. How long before a few things start to happen? Before medical workers say, I'm not going. I'm not going into work. I'm sorry. I didn't sign up for Ebola. And this thing could kill me and my whole family. I'm sorry. That's not what I signed up for. There's a lot of nurses and a lot of doctors that are like that. They are good people, but that's not what they signed up for. They signed up to help people, but not Ebola. And I'm not going to judge them, but there's a lot of people that would feel that way. Hey, my life is important too, and so is my family's life. So how long before the doctors and nurses say, CDC and our hospitals are not equipped, and until they get serious, I'm not going in there because they're going to blame me for getting it. Well, I know her. She was doing everything right. Something else is happening here, the Bubba effect. How long before the doctors and nurses say the CDC is out of control, they don't know what they're doing, and they're not really prepared for this? Second thing, if we don't fast track this cure, we've seen that there is a possible cure, and it's in San Diego. The president should be right now fast tracking that serum to make sure that we can get enough of that and stop this. That serum should be in the hospitals here in America. When that woman should be on that serum today. Why is she not on that serum? Now, we know it's really hard to make. It's in the early stages. Well, the president should be giving a speech right now. You want to fill me with confidence? You fill me with confidence by saying, I'm fast-tracking this serum, and we're pouring all the resources we can into this research to make sure we can make enough of that. That'll give me confidence. Because if you don't give me confidence, another thing begins to happen. I stop going to the doctor. I stopped going to the hospital for a couple of reasons. One, I'm really sick, but there are Ebola patients in there. Nobody knows how it spread, and there's no cure for it. So I'm not going into the hospital because I don't want to get something that I don't currently have. I don't want to go to that hospital with the Ebola victim because how do I know I'm not going to get it? So paranoia starts to go. The other thing happens. Every guy and every wife will tell you this. Women will go to the doctor. Men will not go to the doctor. We die from prostate and everything else because we're just not going to the doctor. And we'll have all kinds of problems, and we just won't go to the doctor until it's too late. So what does that play? What role does that play? Well, if there is no cure that's being fast-tracked, if she dies and we're not putting the cure in her, what that means to people is you get it, you die. Well, why would I go to the doctor? And so you have a fever, you're getting sick, and you think you might have it, you're going to shut your mouth. You're going to deny that you have it because it will be a natural thing to go into a normalcy bias. No, it's just a normal cold. It's just a normal flu. I don't have the Ebola virus. And so people will stay out of those hospitals longer. You've got to fast track the cure, and you have to close the airports. And I'm sorry, not the airports, but the flights out of West Africa. And I am sorry to say, but the mayor of Dallas is out of their mind. They are saying that they're going to keep this dog alive. The patient's the patient's dog, which was around this nurse, they're going to keep the dog alive. You can't keep the dog alive. The dogs are carriers of this. There's a good chance this dog has the Ebola virus and could spread the Ebola virus. What are we, insane? Don't answer that question. Because we know the answer to the question. In America, the answer to the question is yes. We're full-fledged, out of our minds, nuts.
Especially when you look to last week and see that Spain put the dog down. A dog in a similar circumstance, they put the dog down.
Almost exactly the same circumstance. A nurse.
Yeah, almost exactly the same thing. They weren't positive the dog had Ebola, but they're positive the dog can spread Ebola if the dog has it. And the dogs don't exhibit symptoms, so out of a preponderance of caution,
and
they put the dog down.
And what are we doing?
We're going to leave the dog
correct.
alone.
Now, here's what I thought. When I read that, I thought, okay, so the nurse is in the hospital, and this is what you do when somebody else is, you're in a car accident, with your spouse, and the spouse is either worse than you are or dead. You don't tell the person as they come out of their coma and they're just barely making it. You know, when they say, "Oh, how's my wife?" You don't say, "Oh, whoa. Her head was chopped off in the accident. It was crazy. You should have seen the blood. Horrible, miserable death. But you're going to make it." They say, "We'll talk about that later. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. Let's get you well." So maybe, I thought to myself, maybe that's what the mayor is doing. Maybe the mayor is saying, let's just get you well. The dog's going to be fine. The dog's going to be fine. Execute the dog. The dog's going to be fine. But I don't think so. In America, they will lie to us about Ebola. They will lie to us about Benghazi. They will lie to us about the banking system. But they will never, ever think about lying to us about a dog.
I think that's true.
And I think, the mayor looks at what happened in Spain, where there was a lot of protesters that were very upset about the dog going away.
Oh, well.
And so he didn't want to deal with it.
You're in Texas. We can handle it in Texas. For the love of Pete, let's not sissify Texas.